Another child is dead. Another family shattered. Another community in mourning. This is Kisauni, Mombasa, where the police watchdog, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, has launched a critical investigation. They are probing the fatal shooting of a 14-year-old boy. This incident occurred on a Tuesday night in the Mtapanga area. It matters because it is not an isolated event. It is a symptom of a deep, systemic crisis in police-community relations. It forces us to ask, once more, how the very institution sworn to protect life becomes the agent of its termination. When trust evaporates, what is left for a society? This question hangs heavy over Kenya today. The bare facts are these. On a Tuesday night in the Mtapanga ward of Kisauni sub-county, police officers were conducting an operation. Reports indicate they were pursuing individuals allegedly involved in criminal activities. During this operation, a 14-year-old boy was shot. He died from his injuries. The police initially suggested he was a suspect, a narrative often deployed in such tragedies. But the community, the boy's family, and human rights defenders tell a different story. They speak of a child, a young life with potential, caught in the crossfire of an aggressive policing tactic. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, known as IPOA, has confirmed it is investigating. This is a mandatory step following any death or serious injury caused by police action. Their role is to establish impartial facts. Did the officers follow procedure? Was the use of lethal force justified, proportional, and absolutely necessary? These are the questions IPOA must answer. But history tells us these investigations are fraught. They take time, often years. Witnesses can be intimidated. Evidence can be contested. The process itself becomes a battleground for truth and accountability. Kisauni is no stranger to tension. It is an area often labeled as a hotspot for crime. This labeling itself is part of the problem. When an entire community is viewed through a lens of criminality, every young man within it becomes a potential suspect. Policing becomes less about service and more about containment. The war on crime rhetoric justifies extreme measures. The boy, whose name has not been officially released out of respect for the family's grief, becomes a statistic. Number 14 in a grim tally, but he was not a number. He was a son, possibly a brother, a friend, a student. His death is an absolute, irreversible tragedy. The police involved have not been named. They are likely on administrative leave pending the investigation, a standard practice. But for the community, this feels like a delay of justice. The immediate narrative clash, dangerous suspect versus innocent child, is the central conflict IPOA must resolve. Their credibility, and the little remaining public trust in police accountability, hinges on this. Let's delve deeper into the context. IPOA was established under the National Police Service Act of 2011. Its birth was a direct response to decades of documented police brutality, extrajudicial killings, and a complete lack of accountability. It was meant to be the independent check on police power, a civilian oversight body with teeth. But its journey has been incredibly difficult. It is chronically underfunded and understaffed. It faces constant resistance from within the police service. Officers often view it with hostility, as an enemy rather than a partner in professionalization. Furthermore, the legal framework can be cumbersome. For a case to result in a successful prosecution, the evidence threshold is high. IPOA investigates and recommends, but the Director of Public Prosecutions decides whether to charge. This multi-layered process means families are often left in agonizing limbo. Now, consider Kisauni. Mombasa County has a complex socio-economic fabric. Tourism decline, youth unemployment, and historical marginalization create fertile ground for both crime and heavy-handed policing. Gangs exist. Crime is real. Residents themselves are victims of robbery and violence. They want security, but the method of delivering that security is the core issue. When police operations are characterized by raids, indiscriminate arrests, and the use of lethal force as a first rather than last resort, it breeds deep resentment. The community stops seeing the police as protectors. They see them as an occupying force, a threat to be feared. This breakdown is catastrophic for actual crime prevention. Who will report a crime? Who will testify as a witness? If the police are seen as predators, cooperation vanishes. Intelligence dries up. This forces police to rely even more on forceful, intelligence-poor operations, creating a vicious, bloody cycle. The 14-year-old's death is a point on this cycle. It is also part of a national pattern. Look at the statistics from human rights organizations. The Missing Voices Coalition, for instance, documents cases of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings. Their data, though likely an undercount, is chilling. Young men from informal settlements are disproportionately the victims. The language used is often the same: shot while resisting arrest, killed in a shootout, a suspect wanted for robbery. The narrative is pre-packaged. It is designed to justify, to sanitize. It dehumanizes the victim and absolves the shooter before any inquiry begins. This is why IPOA's investigation is so crucial. It is a formal, state-mandated challenge to that automatic narrative. But IPOA's own record is mixed. There have been successes, convictions of police officers for murder. These are hard-won victories for activists and families, but they are few and far between, dwarfed by the number of cases that stall, where files get lost, where witnesses recant testimony out of fear. The political will to truly hold police accountable often wavers, especially when the public is scared of.